The world's richest person and the most powerful politician have publicly fallen out. The Tesla CEO Elon Musk and US President Donald Trump have engaged in a public feud on social media, ending their once close relationship. Musk had been publicly criticizing Trump's signature piece of legislation when they started taking direct shots at each other. As a result, shares of Tesla have plunged more than 14%, knocking about $150 billion off its market value, with Musk losing around $20 billion from his personal holdings. Now, things really kicked off when Trump posted it was him who asked Musk to leave the White House. He said, quote, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate. That forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy." Then he threatened Musk with action, saying the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Musk then responded with the biggest accusation of the feud, saying it's time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Later, Musk retweeted a post that said Trump should be impeached and J.D. Vance should replace him. He simply said, yes. All right, and to help us make sense of all of this, Jayson Campadonia from NBC News and iHeartRadio in Los Angeles is following this for us. Thanks for staying up for this one, Jayson. So some have been expecting this bromance between Elon Musk and Donald Trump to blow up for months now. So what's really behind this very public falling out now?
So we had Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. They broke up. And now we have Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I mean, it really is a reality show breakup between, two of the most powerful men in the world. And one thing that we've learned about Donald Trump is that he is no stranger to changing people in his administration. The first time that he was president here in the United States, he changed his chiefs of staff multiple times. And the rumor mill and what we understand is that Donald Trump wants to be Donald Trump. And if you get in the way of Donald Trump being Donald Trump, he will move you out of the way. And it seems like there's some believability to both sides in what they're saying, and there might be some truth to it. The EV mandate here in California was in 2035, all new cars had to be electric. And that would have, increased Tesla stock and Tesla sales and things like that. Donald Trump got rid of that. And now it's kind of like, hey, wait a second. Now you're messing with my nest egg. And so now I'm going to start taking shots across the bow. And it is great political theater, to say the least.
Yeah, and we've just obviously been through that back and forth that they had on social media. But Musk is now calling for Trump to be impeached, and Trump is threatening Musk's government contracts. Is this becoming more than just a social media spat?
Oh, of course. These guys, again, they're powerful men, and they have deep-rooted ties to a lot of different revenue streams and political dealings when it comes to the United States. And so when you're threatening for, or you seemingly side with a president to be impeached, that's an obvious sign that, this has taken some time. And really, this has been building for a while. And this was, cocked and loaded and ready to go before the actual blow up happened, if you will call it that. And, Donald Trump saying that he's going to hit Elon where it hurts. Well, that's what Donald Trump does. He hits people in the pocketbook because that's what's important to people. That's what's important to countries. That's why we're getting all the tariffs and all of that sort of situation. So he's going to hit him where it hurts because that's what Donald Trump does. If he can put the squeeze on you, then maybe he can make you come to the table and get some sort of deal done. I won't be surprised if they talk, and this is going to be later on, but I'm sure that there's some sort of backdoor dealings between the head honcho in the United States government and the head honcho in Elon Musk's, cabinet, if you will. And they're going to come to some sort of agreement somehow, some way. And this is going to be water under the bridge. And they'll raise their hands together at some political rally at some point, I'm sure.
Well, thanks very much for that, Jayson Campadonia from NBC News and iHeartRadio in Los Angeles. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now, before the exchange between the two got ugly, here's what Trump said in response to Elon Musk's repeated criticism of his so-called big, beautiful bill.
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill.
Now, the Trump-Musk meltdown has had other repercussions beside the price of Tesla stock. Musk has threatened to decommission the SpaceX Dragon capsule needed to ferry astronauts and supplies to the International Space Station. After stock indexes in Asia rose on news of positive trade talks between the US and China, they fell over Musk's falling out with Trump. The partnership between the two men has had wide-ranging impacts after starting with a shot heard round the world.
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon.
Elon Musk leapt onto the political stage in October last year after being impressed by Donald Trump's assassination attempt survival.
Fight, fight, fight! Blood coming down the face.
He threw his fortune behind Trump, spending more than $250 million to help get the Republican and his allies elected, becoming the country's biggest political donor.
By the way, John?
And buying himself a seat at Trump's side after his re-election. Trump gave Musk and his son unfettered access to the Oval Office and deputized him to slash government spending.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it, perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
With an unofficial seat at the cabinet table, Musk set his sights on eliminating public debt.
I just wanted to ask you, if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
Musk took a chainsaw to public service, closing programs such as USAID and shedding more than 250,000 federal workers, according to some estimates. His Doge claimed to have saved $175 billion, though media analysis found evidence for less than half of that sum. The billionaire's public service came with private perks, like using the White House driveway to promote his Tesla electric vehicles, and staying close to the biggest customer for his SpaceX rocket company, with its $22 billion in government contracts. But unlike his spacecraft, his share prices were failing to defy gravity. With investors worried, Musk retreated to his real job, with the thanks of the president.
And Elon's really not leaving. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling.
Well, I expect to continue to provide advice whenever the president would like advice.
I hope so.
But his advice was quickly ignored. Trump has pushed ahead with his big, beautiful bill, which would add $2.4 trillion to the public debt, according to independent analysis. Now, with their big, ugly breakup underway, one or both may end up with more than a black eye.
Business and tech reporter Ana Altcheck joins me from Business Insider now. Anna, the world's richest person and the most powerful politician on the planet, publicly trading insults and threats. Who stands to lose more, do you think?
I think it's a tough call. We know that Elon Musk's companies depend largely on government funding, contracts, subsidies, regulations. So Elon Musk's companies could be directly impacted if the relationship goes poorly, especially because we know that, Trump is known to retaliate when he has this kind of public feud with someone. With that being said, Elon Musk has over 220 million followers on X. He helped, push the campaign forward for Trump. So if he starts using his platform to push against legislation that Trump is pushing for, or, just bad-mouthing Trump, that would also not be ideal for the president. So I think they both have, some amount of things to lose, but definitely Musk, could have a direct impact to his businesses because of this faltering relationship.
Yeah, you point to it. Musk and his companies are exposed to the whims of Trump, are they not? EV subsidies are now over. And SpaceX, if you just single out SpaceX, holding billions of dollars in government contracts. How could Trump go further after Musk if this breakup goes full nuclear from here?
Yeah, we've already seen Trump threaten to get rid of Musk's government contracts. We've already seen that he, said he's going to end subsidies, as a response to this feud that went on today. And so I think we'll see how things play out. It's impossible to tell if those things will actually end up happening. He could also, impose new regulations or, put requirements on materials that could impact Tesla. We haven't seen any indication that he would do that, but that's also a possibility. And he could just, turn his fan base against Tesla as well. But there is, some crossover between Elon Musk's fans and Donald Trump fans. So it's hard to tell exactly which direction people would go in, but there's definitely a number of routes that this could end poorly for Musk.
And Musk has many skills. Do you think he has a good sense of how dangerous this situation could get?
I think that Musk tends to react impulsively. He's had, situations like this before. He's gone after other business leaders publicly. He was previously ousted back in the day from PayPal, because of difficulties with working with other people. So I think that this is a pattern that we've seen before. Obviously, Trump, like we said, he does retaliate against people who, voice public disapproval for him. And there have been situations like that in the past. So I think this is entering a bit of a more dangerous situation, but he's definitely, put it all out there before and, started lawsuits against people. So we've seen this kind of behavior before, but we'll see, exactly how this ends up for Musk. Obviously, this is operating at a government level, so he has a little bit more to lose in this scenario.
Where do you think this leaves Republicans, Anna, especially those whose campaigns were bankrolled by Elon Musk?
Yeah, I've spoken with a few Tesla shareholders today who haven't really changed their views on Elon Musk. Some of them were supportive of this kind of public feud, and some were, backing Elon, and others were just really shocked. I think, when it comes to the Republican Party, it's hard to tell which direction people will go in. I would, assume that people would be more loyal to Trump, but like I mentioned earlier, Musk did help elect Trump, and, he might have pulled in more independents. So it's kind of hard to tell, but there definitely was criticism towards Musk when he was working in the government. There was a ton of criticism, and, there was backlash on both sides for what he was doing in Doge. Not everyone was approving. So I think, what is clear is that Trump is the Republican leader and he was elected, but it's not exactly certain, how that will play out with people who were maybe in support of both of them, and hard to tell who will take sides.
Ana Altcheck from Business Insider will be watching. Thank you.